y'all, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk all about the Rain team that I built for Series 12 VGC. It contains only Pokemon that I rated as cute in my earlier video, which you can watch up here, where I ranked every single Pokemon in Sword and Shield by whether they were cute or not. So stick around. Oh, interesting, a Sun team, and it only has one restricted. Okay, well, we know what Heliolisk does with its dry skin. So let's actually, we're really going to need Togedemaru on this one, but I don't want to lead Zacian because of Groudon. Actually, what I want to do is I want to lead Togedemaru Kingdra. We'll put Kyogre in the back so that we can have more control over the Weather War, and we'll also keep Zacian in the back as a late game sweeper. Okay, so this is what I was a little bit worried about, is that they would just straight lead Venusaur and Groudon, and that Groudon is probably slower than my Kyogre, so if I had led Kyogre first, then I feel like probably I would have lost, because they would have ended up with Sun up, and I wouldn't have a quick way to reset it. So what we're actually going to do here is I'm going to switch in my Kyogre so that Kingdra will outspeed Venusaur. And then we'll go ahead and max Airstream on the Venusaur. So now the opposing Venusaur no longer gets Chlorophyll, so it doesn't have its speed doubled, and my Kingdra gets access to its Swift Swim because we're in the rain, so my speed is doubled. So we should absolutely outspeed this Venusaur. What we need to make sure of is hope that it's not Focus Sash plus Sleep Powder, because if that's the case, then this Venusaur is still going to be able to get a Sleep Powder off. And Dynamaxing Venusaur. Did I guess right that it's a Dynamax Venusaur? Yes, and they Dynamax Venusaur, so it will not be using Sleep Powder. Hopefully it'll go down to just the one max Airstream. Fingers crossed for us there. So Dynamax Venusaur can be pretty bulky, as we've seen. It's difficult to KO it a lot of the time, but we did do a big chunk of damage to it there, so hopefully we can take a G-Max Fine Lash. And we do. But what is Groudon gonna do? Keyblades. No, a Fire Punch in the rain. Perfect. He was going for a Fire Punch on my Steel type Togedemaru and instead got my Water type Kyogre. Okay, so we should have no problem just clicking Water Spout now. My Kyogre now is +1 speed because of its the Airstream that my Kingdra used last turn. So we should be absolutely fine here to go for a Water Spout. I'll go for another Airstream on the Venusaur just in case a Water Spout isn't enough to take it down. Ooh, and they pulled Groudon out, so I'm glad I focused on the Venusaur there. Pulling in a Manectric. Remember that it usually runs Lightning Rod as its ability, but we... Ugh, Max Guard. Unfortunate. It usually runs Lightning Rod as its ability, but we don't actually have any Electric-type moves on our team, so that's not really a problem for us. And the Manectric down to its Focus Sash. I kind of wish we had targeted the Groudon slot now, but nothing we can really do about it. The good news is that our +1 speed Kyogre should still outspeed that Manectric, so I don't really think we have much to worry about there. And actually, on top of that, what we can do is we can bring our Togedemaru in. The Lightning Rod on Togedemaru will protect Kyogre from any lightning attacks, electric attacks that Manectric might use, but we're actually not going to let it get any electric type attacks off. Instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to fake out the Manectric to be safe. Okay, so they pull Manectric back, sending out Groudon again, so our fake out ends up not really doing anything, but that's alright. Oh no, that's not good for us actually. I didn't even think about the fact that Groudon was in the back. A little unfortunate for us, and Kyogre's gonna go down here. Shoot, and now we have no way to get rid of the sun and reset the rain. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to protect the Zacian. Remember that Venusaur has the ability Chlorophyll, so it will outspeed my Zacian in the sun. But what I can do is I can nuzzle the Venusaur and paralyze it so that moving forward, it should not outspeed the Zacian. Venusaur goes for Earth Power into Zacian, so that was a good protect. Togedemaru uses Nuzzle. Groudon goes for the Fire Punch on Togedemaru, so we are going to lose Togedemaru. So unfortunately, I don't really see a great way out of this because Zacian doesn't have any spread moves. It's going to be difficult for Zacian to take on both of these Pokemon at once. What we can do, however, is we can attack the Groudon and kind of just hope Venusaur gets fully paralyzed and isn't able to use its next move. But I also don't think this Behemoth Blade will kill. No, not even close. Oh, and the Venusaur doesn't get fully paralyzed. Unfortunate. Whew. Okay, so this is an interesting team. Definitely a Sun team, so they'll probably lead Groudon and Venusaur if I had to guess. Which means that I'll want to keep my Kyogre in the back, but we're definitely going to want some Lightning Rod support here because of Manectric and Heliolisk. So we'll lead Togedemaru plus Kingdra, and we'll put Kyogre in the back to have control of the weather and Zacian to be a late game sweeper. Okay, so they did lead Venusaur and Groudon, which is why I didn't lead my Kyogre. I was worried about that Groudon being slower than my Kyogre and them ending up with the Sun on top. So what we'll do here, because right now Venusaur gets doubled speed because of the Sun, what we're going to do is we're going to switch into my Kyogre. What that will do is it'll remove Venusaur's Chlorophyll boost, so its speed will just be regular, not doubled. And then it'll also give my Kingdra a boost in speed because of Swift Swim. So Venusaur will have normal speed and my Kingdra will have doubled speed, which means that I should be able to go before the Venusaur. Okay, so they pull the Groudon out, switch into Heliolisk. Remember that Heliolisk has the ability Dry Skin usually. So what it does is if it gets hit by a water move, it's immune to that water move, and it'll be healed by it. It's similar to Water Absorb, but it also means that in the rain it'll heal a little bit of HP as well, similar to Leftovers. Or Rain Dish. It's almost like Water Absorb and Rain Dish in one ability. Okay. Okay, so there are a couple things to think about here. They have Groudon in the back, which means they could switch their Groudon in for Heliolisk to set up the Sun, and then their Venusaur would be faster than my Kingdra. What they could also do is they could attack with that Heliolisk with an electric type move, which Kyogre is weak to. So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch into Togedemaru. Togedemaru's Lightning Rod will protect my Kyogre and my Kingdra from being hit by any electric type moves. But what it'll also do is it'll make sure that my Kyogre is in the back. So if Venusaur attacks with G-Max Vine Lash into my Kingdra slot this turn, it won't be able to hit anything because I've max guarded with Kingdra. They didn't we both max guarded. They didn't switch Groudon in, it looks like. Went with a Discharge, probably trying to get some paralyzing here. Ooh, okay, Kingdra's actually in a bit of a tight spot here now because they still have Groudon in the back. They could switch it in, and then Venusaur could just kill my Kingdra. Now, my Kingdra's going to be dead to G-Max Blind Lash anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and paralyze the Venusaur. Just that way, if they get the sun up, Venusaur won't get the speed boost, because Paralyze halves your speed. And I'll go for the Airstream as well. I don't think that we're going to get it, just because I think that they'll switch Groudon in right here, so the Venusaur will outspeed my Kingdra. So I don't think Kingdra will be able to get an Airstream off, but at least we'll get that Nuzzle onto the Venusaur. Yeah, and there goes our Kingdra, unfortunately. Okay, so I will switch in Kyogre yet again. I'm trying to force that Groudon to do a lot of switching, because as long as the Groudon is switching in and out, it's not doing damage. Okay, I don't actually expect Togedemaru to do anything very helpful here, so I kind of want to save it in the back. So I'll actually switch in Zacian now. And I'll go for the Water Spout, because I expect the Water Spout will finish off the Venusaur, and Groudon will probably switch out. So I don't really expect to be taking a hit here from Groudon. It's basically a free switch in for my Zacian. Oh, so the Groudon didn't switch out, but it gets taken down by Water Spout anyway. So it's still a free switch in for my Zacian. And now, instead of having Togedemaru next to my Kyogre, which doesn't do a whole lot for it, I've got Zacian instead. So remember that Heliolisk is probably has the ability Dry Skin, which means that it will be immune to Kyogre's Water type move. And actually, Palossand is probably immune as well because of Water Compaction. Oh, that doesn't actually make... Okay, we're going to go for a Sacred Sword into Heliolisk. That should kill it. And I think what I'm actually going to do here, I'm going to go for the Water Spout. Because Water Compaction doesn't actually make Palossand immune to water. What it does is it makes Palossand's defense raise every time it gets hit by a Water-type move. But because we have Sacred Sword... Oh, but we can't hit Palossand with Sacred Sword because it's a Ghost-type move. Well, hopefully this is fine. Okay, it's fine. Don't have to worry about it, never mind. And we never did find out if the Heliolisk had Dry Skin or if the Palossand had Water Compaction. But we got the win, which is all that really matters. So this battle did a really good job of showcasing how important it is when you're playing a weather team, like a rain team, or even a sun team, how important it is to make sure that you win that weather war. You need to always be in a position to where you can easily and quickly reset the weather that you need. Because if you're a rain team and you find yourself sitting in the sun, you'll be doing a quarter of the damage that you would normally be doing. Because remember that in the rain, a water type move's power is doubled, but in the sun, a water type move's power is halved. So you're not doing half as much damage, you're doing a quarter of as much damage as you would if you were in the rain. Okay, so we're going to end with just a really quick rundown of what the team looks like, why I built it the way I did, and just kind of like how I generally play it so that you could have an idea of how you might want to play it as well. So the core four, as I call it, is obviously we start with our restricted duo, right? I wanted to make a rain team, so we gotta run Kyogre. Zacian is a natural choice to pair with Kyogre because Kyogre can cover a lot of Zacian's weaknesses, right? Putting up that rain can really help protect Zacian from those fire type moves that it is weak to. So the Kyogre build is really standard, you know, Mystic Water, max special attack, max speed. There's not a lot to write home about here. I did put Sheer Cold on it instead of Ice Beam, but that was strictly for the memes. If you did want to use this team or make a similar team, I would absolutely suggest running Ice Beam instead of Sheer Cold. sheer cold is awful, and it has done me no help in any of my games that I have used it in. The Zacian is, of course, very standard as well. Obviously, on a rain team, we need a good Dynamax candidate. Kyogre and Zacian aren't the best Dynamax candidates in the world. You can Dynamax Kyogre, but because of those really powerful spread moves, most of the time you don't want to. So instead, 90% of the time, we're going to be Dynamaxing Kingdra. Kingdra's ability Swift Swim doubles its speed in the rain, so that's why it's such a powerful partner for Kyogre, as well as the fact that Kyogre's Rain doubles the power of Kingdra's Max Geyser when Dynamaxed. And additionally, access to Max Airstream is always good, so that you can permanently boost the speed of your Pokemon and its partners in case the rain goes away and that Swift Swim bonus goes away as well. So those three are kind of the main damage dealers of the team, and then you've got the support Pokemon. So Togedemaru is a really great support Pokemon because its ability Lightning Rod will redirect electric type moves away from the Kyogres, the Kingdras, the Zacians, your powerful attacking Pokemon, and instead boost the special attack of the Togedemaru. So Togedemaru won't take any damage from those electric type moves. Instead, it will have its special attack boosted, which it's not actually using, but the important thing is that those moves are not doing damage to Kyogre. Additionally, the move Nuzzle will 100% paralyze the target Pokemon, and the move Fake Out is great. Togedemaru is a fast Fake Out user, so it will be able to fake out things like Rillaboom and Incineroar before those Rillaboom and Incineroars can fake out your Pokemon on your side of the field. And finally, we're running Steel Roller here instead of something like Iron Tail, specifically because of Rillaboom, right? Rillaboom can be a big problem for Kyogre because on grassy terrain, Grassy Glide gets a +1 priority, which means Rillaboom can attack before Kyogre ever gets a chance to. So what Steel Roller does is it's a Steel type move that can only work when you're on terrain. So it's a very powerful move, but it only works when there's terrain active on the field, like grassy terrain. And after you use the move, it actually destroys the terrain. So what we can do is we can, let's say we lead Kyogre plus Togedemaru, and the opposing trainer has led like a Rillaboom, for example. Let's say this is actually turn 2, and we don't have access to Fake Out anymore. But there's a Rillaboom on the field with priority Grassy Glide because grassy terrain is up. What we can do is we can just protect our Kyogre, use Steel Roller, and suddenly there's no more grassy terrain on the field, and Rillaboom's vulnerable because it can't use that +1 priority Grassy Glide. And Rillaboom's quite slow, so Kyogre should be able to take it out before it gets a chance to attack our Kyogre. The other support Pokemon we have available on the team is Whimsicott. It's pretty standard prankster Whimsicott. You know, we kind of use Rain as our speed control here because Kingdra's Swift Swim makes it very fast, plus then it can use Airstream, and then whatever it has partnered on the field with it will also become fast. But let's say we're in a place where we can't necessarily bring Rain onto the field, or we don't have Kingdra on the field yet. We can have Whimsicott instead set up a Tailwind for us, which will double the speed on our side of the field. Additionally, we have Worry Seed, which can help us deal with opposing Pokemon with really nasty abilities. Let's say the opponent has a Pokemon like Lapras, for example, which has Water Absorb. What we can do is we can use Worry Seed on it to change its ability to Insomnia, and suddenly we can hit those opposing Pokemon with a water type move. Water Absorb won't work. Or we can do something like using Worry Seed on a Gastrodon, for example. We're worried about Storm Drain? Don't worry about it. Suddenly, that Gastrodon no longer has Storm Drain, it has the ability Insomnia instead, so we can still do some damage with our Kyogre and not really be threatened by those types of abilities. Finally, Fake Tears just allows our special attackers like Kyogre and Kingdra to do even more damage because it lowers opposing special defense by 2 stages, basically cutting it in half and doubling the damage we can do to those Pokemon. And Energy Ball is just another way for us to deal with those Gastrodon, because Gastrodon is such a big threat to Kyogre, and it's very popular in the meta right now, but it's 4 times weak to grass type moves, so Energy Ball can really help us deal with that. And then finally, we've got Porygon. Now you might think this Porygon would have Trick Room on it, because, you know, most Porygons run Trick Room, but it's a little bit of a tease. It's a little bit of like a bait and switch. You know, you bring out a Porygon, the opponent assumes you're going to use Trick Room, and instead, what do? Ally Switch. No one ever sees it the first time around, so you can definitely get up to some shenanigans with Ally Switch. play a few mind games, protect your Kyogre, maybe from a Rillaboom going for Grassy Glide. Do something like that. It's always a fun time. Additionally, we've got Tri Attack to help us, deal some damage if we need to, recover to keep our Porygon healthy, and Eerie Impulse really helps to protect our Pokemon on our side of the field from opposing special attackers. There are a lot of special attackers running around right now because of the proliferation of Intimidate. Intimidate's a great ability. It really can neuter opposing physical offense very quickly. So a lot of people run special attackers instead because they're a little tougher to cut down. So Eerie Impulse lowers opposing special attack by, again, 2 stages, basically cutting the damage they do in half, and it can really help to protect some of our big damage dealers here. So that was just a super quick rundown of the cute rain team that I built for Series 12 VGC. Remember, if you want to try out the team for yourself, the rental code is down there. Don't forget to comment down below any thoughts you have about the team. And if you want to see more videos like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all later. Bye!